Hello everyone, my name is Sirrah, and today I'm going to do a short presentation on photographic composition. It's for my Challenge 25 in Glen Guy's Landscape Luminaries cohort. And again, my name is Sirrah. In this short little video, I'm going to discuss 5 different principles of composition. And I like to call them principles rather than rules. If you look deeply into these principles, you'll find that they're structures found in nature, principles which, when adapted into your photos, lend them qualities of timelessness, transcendence, and beauty. And so we're going to discuss leading lines, taking you from here to there. And an important principle about leading lines is those leading lines should take you into the photo and rather than out of it. And it should lead to the main point of interest. And in each of the photos that we'll be seeing in a few minutes, there's one of mine, and then there's one of a slightly more famous photographer. In this case, Clyde Butcher. The second one will be S-curves, circles, and golden spirals, which are all kind of related. And there's an excellent picture from Michael Macias of Central Park. The third, rhythm and repetition. I call that the music within silence. It seems, because as you'll see, that rhythm and repetition seems to be the music of photographs. And in that one we have Juliana Gaspardaru, who is a world-renowned architectural photographer. Fourth, color contrast, moving from cool to warm. Cool retreats, warm advances, and in this one we'll have Ken Duncan, a famous Australian photographer. And the fifth, frames within frames within frames within frames, or fractal geometry, and here we have Ansel Adams. What I'd like to do now is quickly show you all the photos, and then we'll go into them one by one. So this first photo is showing leading lines, Clyde Butcher's leading lines, curves, circles, S-curves, that's mine, curves, circles, S-curves, Michael Macias. Here's one of mine. Juliana Gaspardaru. Color, warm and cool tones. It's my photo. And Ken Duncan's photo, warm and cool tones. And finally, frames within frames within frames. You see how the trees frame the bridge. And then Ansel Adams Church in Taos Pueblo. Frames within frames. So let's go deeper into each of these photos. Okay, so this first photo is in Austin, Texas. And obviously the leading line is really obvious in that one. I couldn't resist taking this photo. And the line leads us right into this building. And you'll see some of the other qualities of composition, such as triangles. We see the triangles here. We see the triangle here, which is actually an arrow shape pointing again right to this spot here. And the next one is by Clyde Butcher. Again, leading line. And this is kind of this idea I meant about transcendence, where it takes the eye deep into the photo until you almost disappear way back into the edge of the photo. And then those lines also bring you back into this very interesting aspect of the photo right here, which is showing some of the contrast, the textures in the bricks, matching the textures here of the bricks, and it gives you that sense of unity. This photo, what attracted me to take this photo was actually not only this fence here, but the actual curves. I just saw that, I thought that was so interesting, and it just took my eye right into the photo, swirled around, and then kind of shot out to this bench. So the bench kind of fits in this space here. I just thought it was just an amazing setup where they put that bench. And there's also, of course, the other aspects of design, which is the framing. It's like everything in this whole area is kind of holding this bench. I placed it in the center, but closer to the 1/3 rule of thirds, down on this side, but centered this way. A similar photo by Michael Massia. Again, the same situation of the curves, or sometimes known as the golden ratio. And you can follow that right out. And then there's another one right here following this fence, taking you into this other circle, this other sphere. So you got the two circles, which is the main aspect of the photo. Takes you right in. And then it's also framed by the trees. But the main one that I thought of this one is, even though this is a leading line, it's more of a, and it does take you into the photo. I just really liked this whole golden spiral. There it is, the golden spiral. One there and another one here. And then framed by the trees. So again, back to this one, you'll see that golden spiral as well, which leads one back into the photo to the bench, the park bench. And so it's making a distinction between just pure leading lines that would maybe take you to the people way back here, but it's more of a spiral that brings you back to the bench. Same here, the golden spiral takes you into the photo here. It's not taking you up here, it's taking you right here. And now for this photo, we're seeing rhythm and repetition. The rhythm of the triangle here in the beginning, the lines white, and black. The textures are all here, but it's more these rhythms of black and white, and the rhythms of the geometric shapes. We have triangles, we have long bars of light, and the same thing here with Juliana Gasparadu's photo showing the black and white rhythm of this building and the light coming in. So back here again, my photo showing the rhythm. I call it the music of silence, because there's so much movement, there's so much rhythm, you can almost hear it. And this is my only color, photo, and this one is showing the warm tones, the sun rising on a cool winter's morning day, showing the blue tones. So you have warm tones and the cool tones. And as we know, cool retreats and warm advances. And so even though we're kind of beginning here, we're kind of the eyes following to the sun over here. And similar colors in this photo by Ken Duncan. A cool background with a warm sunlit building. And the recently graded, or I should say plowed field. The orange tones and the blue tones in the back. And finally, frames within frames within frames. So in this photo we have the two trees here framing the bridge, which is, there's another frame below which frames the scene of the lake in the background. And there's also the leading lines of the path and the trees leading into the photo. I also wanted to talk a little in this photo. I just really liked the white of the cottonwood tree mirroring the white of the bridge. Kind of gives a sense of unity as well. The man-made structure versus and the tree as well, having the same kind of color and even that structure of this branch of the branches that kind of bring an interesting contrast and unity as well. And finally, the church by Ansel Adams, also showing the frame here within the frame, within the structures of the little rectangles in the door here and then smaller here. That's a good example of the fractal geometry where there's a larger structure and then the smaller structure mirrors it, gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You also see the rectangles are in the steps, the square window here. And the other interesting thing was the bridging design up here and then the building behind it. And so those are a few examples of a way we can put our photos together, things to look for. Like in this one, I just saw that leading line that interested me, the leading lines, the curves, the golden spirals, curves and golden spirals, repetition and rhythm, repetition and rhythm, opposite colors, frames within frames within frames. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed our show, and we'll see you again next time.